On behalf of the California Film Institute, welcome to For Your Consideration, a celebration of world cinema. I am Mark Fishkin, the founder and director of the California Film Institute. I'd like to remind you that Charlatan is representing the Czech Republic for Best International Feature for this year's Oscars. I am honored and extremely excited that with us today is the director, Agnieszka Holland, in conversation with award-winning actor Ed Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the conversation.
Okay, so Agnieszka, hi. It's really good to see you.
Hi, Ed. It's great to see you, even like that.
Yes. Okay, so we're discussing your new film, Charlatan, which is about a Czechoslovakian herbalist healer in the mid-30s to late 50s is when the film takes place. Mikolášek was his name.
Right.
He was a rather controversial figure. Some people thought he was a charlatan, and other people really believed in his healing powers. It's a beautifully rendered story. And Amy, my wife, after we watched it, she said, Agnieszka sure knows where to put the camera, is one of the things she said. But I have some questions for you. I was curious, Marek, who wrote the screenplay, I wonder how did he learn about this man? What was the genesis of the script, and how did it come to you? And thirdly, did you work on it with him?
Yes. So I was studying Czechoslovakia in late 60s, early 70s. So the most important period of my life somehow, because it was the introduction to many things, to the art, to the filmmaking, to love, to politics, and to social struggles all together. So I became very close to Czech culture, language, and the history. And a few years ago, like 6-7 years ago, I was lucky to direct the miniseries called Burning Bush for Czech HBO. Which spoke about my youth. It spoke about the struggles of the Czechoslovakian youth against the oppression of Soviet intervention, and about the young student of my age who immolated himself to death to protest or to wake up the people. And that it was for me very important experience, filmmaking and also personal. And it was very happy shoot. Everything, came together. The script was, it means the movie was based, miniseries and then movie was based on the script of young Czech screenwriter. And I found him very talented and extremely truthful. So when I finished this, and I received another script from another young Czech screenwriter, Marek Epstein, I was really well disposed. So I read it, because, as yourself, we are receiving sometimes a lot of scripts, and most of that is not so interesting. And some is really boring. But this one I read immediately, and I read it with great interest. And then I spoke to Marek, and I was like thrilled by the fact that it is a true story based on the real figure. But in the same time, it's written with a lot of psychological and storytelling imagination. And it doesn't works like the regular conventional biopic drama. That it is the search for some mystery, it is the search for some, to describe the destiny which you cannot put into any box.
Okay.
And he heard about Mikolášek from the grandson of Mikolášek's sister. Wow. The young man, journalist, who discovered his grand-uncle history and found some documents and wanted to make the documentary about it. He went to the Czech television, and they've been watching what he has. And the dramaturg, who after was our main help when we worked on the script, told to himself, yeah, that is probably not the subject for the documentary because we don't have the witnesses anymore, we don't have many documents, but it is a subject for the future film. And he contacted Marek. Marek read it and immediately fell in love. And then when he wrote the first draft or second draft, maybe, they sent it to me and I said yes. I said yes. I was intrigued. Immediately my imagination started to work. But because I had another films in the line, I told them that I can agree if they will wait for me for 4 years. 4 years, I said, less or more, because I had the film Spur, which I already was in preparation, and after the film Mr. Jones, and also one miniseries and 2 series. So when I only finished Mr. Jones, immediately day after, I flew to Prague and started the prep on Charlatan, but I had the week of terrible fear because, after 4 years, suddenly I wasn't sure why I wanted to make it, what it was, why I was unable for a little while to find my real desire and real reason. But fortunately, when speaking to the actor and Marek, I did find it. And during those 4 years, we worked together on the different versions of the script, of the draft. And from some point, we decided also to include the main actor, Ivan Trojan, who I knew from many Czech movies because he's a kind of star, theater and film star, but also extremely honest and extremely intelligent and very special man. And I worked with him on Burning Bush as well, so I knew him.
He's incredible. Yeah, really wonderful actor. Wow. And his son plays himself as a younger man. When did that happen? And was that part of the whole agreement?
That it was the lack of waiting 4 years, because when we started, after a few weeks, trying maybe with another actors, because I wanted to be sure that we are, that it's not my love for Ivan which pushes me to cast him. So we did some small casting with other actors, which was interesting. And then we understood that Ivan is, like Mikolášek, that he is the best. But we had the problem how to find Mikolášek young, who will be credible. And we've seen a lot of young actors actually, but we didn't think about Ivan Trojan's son. He has 4 sons, four boys. And the second one, Joseph, who plays him finally, was 14 in this time. So he was very young. We even didn't know about him. And in the time when I was doing another movies, when Joseph passed 17 probably, he presented himself in the casting director office, and he asked her to try him because he wants to be an actor and he thinks that maybe he will be right for this part. And it appeared that he's perfect, So
it was great. Like
a miracle.
Yeah. Okay, here's a question for you, which you've probably been asked before. I did a little research about this man, right? He lived until 1973, right? He served 3 years in jail for, I guess, primarily he was in trouble because he didn't nationalize his business, I guess. He was, denied any civil rights for 5 years. And I was curious at the end of the movie, which really does leave us kind of wondering what happened to him, why you didn't want to put any more information at the end.
Well, because we played a bit with his destiny, it is not like one-to-one factually. Right. We took the liberty to dramatize some things. And also we didn't want to speak with the real names and so about his assistant, because his family can still be alive. It was like several things which blocked us. But in the first place, we decided that we will take some liberty, a bit like, I don't know, in Amadeus, the writers suppose that Salieri was killed Mozart, and in reality we don't have the proofs about it, and probably it never happened.
Right.
So it was a bit like, because we've been a little free with the with the reality, we didn't want to put the stamp by the end with the caption telling it happened like that and like that and like that. That was the main reason why we didn't give this closing. And also I like the feeling that the film stays open, that what you stay with is this emotional knockdown when those two men who love each other in some particular way, that they part, and we don't know if they will meet again and what will gonna happen to them. In reality, Mikolášek was arrested because he was like the thorn in the body of communist Czechoslovakia, because he was very different. He was somehow free. He lived in a different way that it was permitted. Stalinian Czechoslovakia was even worse than Stalinian Poland, on Hungary or other countries. Was very, very, strict in rules, very orthodox. Everybody had been collectivized, everything was nationalized, and the people have been living like in some kind of, I don't know, zoological garden, in some similar cages. And he didn't. He had the own villa and own private business. He had the employees, he had the big American car, and he acted like that nothing can happen to him because he felt very sure. He had the roof, as Russians, Soviets said. It means somebody who very important, who protected him. And he was protected in the first place by the president of communist Czechoslovakia, Antoni Zapotocki, because he saved his life, or at least his health. And as long as Zapotocki was alive, the secret police and the party police, they knew that they cannot do anything to him. So when Zapotocki died finally in 1957, they jumped on him with the bigger aggression and fury, because they've been waiting so long, and because that he acted like if he's over them, that he's more powerful than they are.
How is he regarded by the general public in Czechoslovakia, today? I mean, is he appreciated as a healer and a bit of a rebel, or is he thought of as a charlatan? I mean, I'm just curious how history has labeled him or something.
Well, he was actually forgotten, when I was studying, I never heard about him. And when the script was sent to me, when I read the script, I even wasn't sure if he was a real character or maybe it is like pure fiction. But after, when I started to dig, it appeared that many people remember him. And when we started to shoot, many people, extras or the crew members, when they started to think, they say, Mikoláš, oh yeah, my grandmother told me, or my granduncle or somebody, because he really was extremely popular before the war, during the war, and in the first years of communist Czechoslovakia after the war. When he came out from the prison, he lost all his possession. Right. And he was given the roof from the head of the biggest hospital in Prague, Bulovka Hospital, because this doctor was always appreciating very much his skills, and even was sending him the patients when he had the problem with the diagnosis. So he was mostly respected by the medical corps, not by everybody, but mostly yes. And he, in reality, as we show in the movie, he passed several tests before the war, Czechoslovakia, and with the specialists and experts, and during the war with the Gestapo doctors. So the people knew that he is not a charlatan, and he didn't behave like one. For example, when he didn't know if he knew that he doesn't have the remedy for some sickness, he just told it straight. He didn't pretend that he can cure whoever and however. I think that his mind was the mind of the doctor, except that his education was different, and and the special knowledge of the herbs was very unique. And today we had two consultants, the herbalists from Czech Republic, and they all not only know Mikolášek, but consider him the founding doctor of their, of their knowledge, founding master. And they are using some of his recipes, which are known, because he had the talent to combine the herbs in the way which was very, very inventive and very efficient. So, when the movie was made, suddenly everybody started to talk about Mikolášek and look into the Google and so on. Which, if he was very well known, I think that probably we will be not so free with. I don't know. Anyway, I as always, when making the true man's story, in some point you think that you are him, right? And we worked together on Beethoven, on copying Beethoven, and we also took a lot of liberty. We just was searching for some inner truth, but of course our inner truth of the character was our inner truth of the character. Somebody else can have completely different approach.
Right. The woman, Yaroslava, is that her name?
Yes.
Who played Mulbakarovia. She was tremendous. Had you worked with her before?
I not only worked with her before, but she was the star of my student films.
Ah.
Yeah, she's very special actress and very special character, and she's not very popular in Czech Republic, paradoxically. And when I did the Burning Bush, which was very well received, and practically many people have watched it in Czech Republic and in Slovakia, she played mother of the student who died, by putting fire on himself, and then she did incredible work on this, and she has some kind of the truth which is like really special. So I knew that I want to have her in this film, and that she will be perfect for the role. So it was my pleasure. Yeah, I am faithful to her, for 50 years or so. So
I also found it was really interesting because you cover, quite a period of time, mid 30s to late 50s kind of, and your use of either lack of color or color, a lot of it almost seems black and white in a way, it's very muted and grays and dark. And then there's some other segments that are really beautifully, the colors of nature, particularly in the field where both of the men are naked and are together. And I was just curious, in your mind, in terms of telling the story, you're such a great storyteller, the use of the contrast of those, just the images, and the feeling that they evoke. I'm sure that was intentional. And I guess it was Martin was the
Martin Sztyrba, yes.
Yeah,
cinematographer.
It's just a beautifully shot film, and I was just curious how much you had discussed with him prior, how you wanted to go about shooting these different periods of time and sequences. It really moves seamlessly in terms of the time,
Yeah, we told to I know Martin for quite a long time, and he's extremely talented and he has this. His light is like coming from inside of the people. At the same time, it's very, it's very discreet. It means it's very real. He's not looking for some flashy effects. And I knew also that when using flashbacks, I don't want it to be too visible. It has to be visible, but in the same time, not that it jumped to you, they found this idea, And mostly when you are doing the flashbacks in coming back to the old times, mostly you decide to do the past in the black and white or something. And we decided the opposite way, yes.
Yeah.
And because you know, the reality of communist Czechoslovakia and the reality of the prison, which we shot in real prison, which is not working anymore, but it was, and which reminds, by the way, completely the prison I was in when I was arrested in Czechoslovakia. It looked exactly the same. So the reality of this prison was like that, grayish, you know, greenish, very monochromatic. Same with the court where the trial happened, and even the villa was, you know, was like colorless somehow. So and his life and the feeling of the incoming danger, everything was like gray and gloomy. And the childhood is always intense and sensual, or youth is intense and sensual. And also the moment when they have this, you know, explosion of love and the eroticism, it's also like full in colors somehow. So we decided to go this way, without being too conceptual, without like, you know, that you can analyze this afterward, but when you are watching it, it seems to be organic.
That's what, yeah, that's what was, it was really remarkable that way, because it was really seamless. You never thought about it. You just followed the story, you know. Yeah, and Juraj, is that how you pronounce his name? Who played the
You're
lover?
right. Mhm.
He was also wonderful, and I'm how, what kind of information it was available in terms of this relationship. In other words, you mentioned that the family of this man, you know, is very private, and you didn't want to publicize any of that. But I'm curious, just, I guess it was common, was it common knowledge that they were together at the time, or was it a very private affair between them? Just curious.
But you know, it was punishable in the time.
Yeah, it was against the law. Yeah.
It was against the law, and also it was against, like, you know, Mikolášek was certainly somebody who wanted to be respected, and who had this, you know, like pride and, you know, even hubris of the important persona, and it was incompatible with this kind of the love and of this kind of liaison. So he was certainly hiding in, and hiding even sometimes maybe for himself somehow. He, you know, he was struggling with that. I think so. He was praying. He constructed this figure of the, you know, Christ in his garden. He was praying every morning, and we heard that he put those stones. And it was like some kind of the punishment, you know, self-punishment, yeah, something like that. And certainly the fact that somebody so close to the nature, who knows the nature so well and is pouring all the strength from the nature, it's unable to accept his own nature, his own identity. We found it paradoxal. But we don't have the documents about their relationship. We have some rumors. And when Marek started to make the research, he talked to some old people still alive in the neighborhood of this, you know, of this private hospital of Mikolášek. And they've been talking about the, yeah, about this assistant. They've been, you know, maybe, you know, it was something, but we don't have the like proofs for that, not letters, not the,
Right,
you know,
right.
and we know that after the prison, they never met each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a lovely moment when they're both about to, you know, go their separate ways in the prison, when their hands, when it's a
Yeah.
very nice touch, and it just, solidifies their love and their relationship, you know, and the importance of it to them. Okay, so your daughter, Kasia, was a second unit director, and I'm curious what what stuff that she was responsible for. And one of my thoughts was perhaps she worked with a lot of the townspeople and the long lines of people with their vials waiting to show give their urine to the doctor, not the doctor, to the, Mikolášek, to the man. Yeah. So what did Kasia film for you?
Actually, Kasia didn't film a lot on this one. Mostly if she is doing second unit, she does a lot. And the most complicated scenes sometimes, or the most challenging. And a few movies we co-directed, like Spur, for example, we co-directed. But on this one, she was very busy because she was shooting this series for Amazon in Bulgaria. So I asked her only twice, and we had to divide this scene because of the schedule. We had to shoot 2 units,
Right.
with different actors. So
Okay.
she shot the First World War, for example, when, when young Mikolášek, is shooting is killing his military friend.
Yeah, is that based on a fact,
It was based on some facts, but Mikolášek, it was only the very slight notion in the Mikolášek, some letter about it. So we don't know how it exactly
It's a
happened.
really very powerful scene, though. Yeah.
So Kasia shot this scene, and in the same time, I shot with Ivan, with older Mikolášek, some another scene in this neighborhood because it was outside of Prague, and we finished first, and we came back, and I watched Ivan how he is watching his young son acting, and it was he was so moved and so excited about it. It was really very beautiful. It's a beautiful family, all sons and them.
Well, you've been incredibly busy, right, over the past few years, but you shot this in, was it late 2019? Is that when you shot it, or did you shoot it last?
Yes, we finished actually, I think in January 2020, and immediately we premiered it in Berlin Film Festival, which was very lucky because the festival was in mid or late February, and in March everything stopped in Europe, and we supposed open the film in Czech Republic in March, but it was open in August only, with great success. By the way, we've been lucky that this 2 months without COVID, or with a very little COVID, when the cinema have been opened, we had premiered this film, and it had great audience and great response. So it was seen. And because it was shown in a Berlin Film Festival, the people, which was the last normal festival with the market and with the critics and normal attendance and the audience and so, and movie was well received there. So we've been able to sell it to several countries. If it wasn't Berlin, it still will be in some kind of the limbo, or we'll just maybe, if we'll be lucky, sell it to Netflix or Amazon or some platform.
Yeah. Did you film it? It looks like it was shot on film. I'm curious, was it digital or was it film?
Digital it was.
Yeah,
It was
beautiful.
digital. And Martin is great with digital, and today with digital you can do same thing like with the film. It's practically, it's easier even because you can do a lot in the post. You can really play with the image in very free way. And he's great cinematographer, and he's very skilled with with all those tricks. So
what are you thinking of next creatively? What are you working on? Anything in particular?
it's difficult right now. It means I worked for 10 years without interruption, and sometimes overlapping the things.
You're taking a little break, maybe? Are you taking a
So,
little break?
so since March, except of promoting and reading and watching, and I mostly was in my country house in France, and mostly I was watching the media to see what's going on with the world, because the world became crazy. Not only pandemics, but the politics in all those countries I'm interested in, United States, where I normally live, France, Poland, Czech Republic also to some extent, and others. So it was like watching, the reality TV series about Polish presidential elections and American presidential elections. And it was very difficult to think about the fiction for me. I received several scripts, some with the stamp COVID friendly. You certainly got some of that. It means 2 people in the room or something like
Yeah.
that. But I didn't read anything which was on the level of the reality in terms of the drama and challenge and difficult questions and suspense even. So I started to write something, but I don't think I will see. And I supposed to direct the TV series for Apple, but that it was cancelled because of the virus.
Now the film is is the Czechoslovakian film,
Czech.
film.
It means it's co-production, Czech, Slovak, Polish, Irish,
But it's a
but
Czech.
it represents Czech entry.
It's the Czech film for Academy consideration, correct?
Right. It is Czech entry for the category of international films. They
Right.
call it now international films. It was before foreign language film, but now it's international film.
Okay. And
Czech,
they haven't made those final decisions yet, have they? Has that already been nominated?
no,
Under
the
consideration.
shortlist, you have the time to vote.
Right.
If you are in the committee, it means if you are Academy member and you decide to go to the international category,
Which I will do.
you receive some numbers of films, and then you have to watch 12, and that you can vote for whoever you want, and will be for the short list. And the Academy decided this year, because of COVID and the complications with meeting together and so, that it will be 15 foreign films for the short list. And altogether, it's like about 90, 92, 3. It's a lot of films,
Okay. All right.
So it will be 15, and from 15 after I think all Academy probably, everybody who won't watch 15 films can vote for the 5 nominations, and then for the Oscar. So what was for me really touching, it was that the Czech Academy decided to present Charlatan instead of some film made by Czech director. So I'm honorary Czech, but I'm not Czech.
Yeah.
And in this competition, I am together with several women directors from Eastern and Central Europe who are friends.
Oh, good.
The great movie which you absolutely have to see from Bosnia, called Quo Vadis Aida, very powerful film, and beautiful film from Poland made by another woman director. It Will Never Snow Again, I think is the title. So I think that are really 3 important films from this part of Europe made by women who've been presented by the local academies as a choice, national choice, to be in this category, which shows that the women takes over.
Definitely. A couple little technical questions. There's a lot of different shades and colors of urine, and which I found totally believable. And curiously, how you did when you move in on when he's really looking, in the light, and you come in and you get the kind of microscopic view of what he's seeing. Was that all post kind of thing, or did you?
Those 2. I think that twice we did it. That we are entering the urine like like the cosmos somehow, like like the universe. Yeah, we did it in the post. It's a kind of animation using the real like elements of real urine. So the urine is very complicated. I learn a lot about that. So.
Now, is there anyone that's practicing? Did he have any proteges? Was there anybody that learned from him that continued the practice?
it was some, but after the laboratories became so efficient that somehow it wasn't the reason to do it anymore.
Okay.
And also you needed the special kind of intuition, or I don't know, knowledge, of course, but also some talent to
Yes.
see something which other people don't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people have been doing it for the centuries, actually. It is quite old tradition. But always they've been special people. Not everybody can do it. It means you can learn some general things, but to have the precision of the diagnosis, you have to have this kind of the intuition.
Well, it's a beautiful, fascinating film, and I hope people get a chance to see it. I mean, how will it be? Are they sending out screeners, or are they? I mean, how will people? It's through the Academy, obviously. People need to see this film, so I guess hopefully it's up to the people that will want to see the foreign films, and yours included. Is it
You know,
scheduled for any kind of release in the U.S.?
Yes, we are hoping for release. We have the American distributor, the Strand Media, and they hope to release in the spring. It depends when the cinema will be open,
Right.
because it's always better to show the film first in the theaters, especially the film which has some like visual and sensual strength. And in the meantime, the Academy members had the access to the Academy screening room, virtual screening room. And you can watch all films which are eligible for the Oscars, all Oscars. And also you can see in the special category international films and short films and documentaries and so.
Right.
So I really advise people to watch international films, because I think some of them are more interesting than English speaking films this year.
Yes,
And
it's often the case.
and documentaries, which are also, often more interesting than the fiction. So I think that, all we are afraid about it, what will happen to the theatrical cinema after COVID, if the people will come back to the rooms, how long it will take.
You know,
Uh,
you forget after 9, 10 months of watching films either on the television screen or on your computer, how much more impact the film has on a big screen.
uh,
You start
so it
taking it,
is,
it's incredible the difference, just in terms of what hits you viscerally,
yes, for me, it's like the difference between the information and the emotional experience.
I agree.
When you watch it like that, you can, and you can watch without really losing something big. If it's only story driven, if it's only plot driven, then you can follow. It's why most of the TV series are constructed in this way, that the plot is like taking you. But if it has some like many layers, you are losing it. It's not. Yeah. So, but I think that to recreate this desire to see the film on the big screen and to go out to the big room and to be together with the other people in the dark room, we have to make better movies. We have to make the movies which are the experience.
Good point. Well, I wish you all the best with this film. It's beautiful. I hope tons of people see it. It's, it's so good to see you. I love you and miss you, and give my love to Kasia, and hopefully see you before too long.
Well, I hope to come soon, that we will vaccinate ourselves and that we will be safe and we can hug and drink together.
Yes,
And thank you for doing it, Ed. And
pleasure.
thank you everybody for watching us and this film, Charlatan. And
God bless. All right.
L'chaim. Bye.
All right. Bye.